Hi grade 3s, welcome to writing for Wednesday the 12th of August, which is lesson 3 of writing. So today guys, what we're going to be working on is handwriting. So handwriting is still going to be something that we do while you're working from home. And today, what I want you to do is make sure that you do your handwriting in your either like your draft book, purple book, or your black book that you do your independent writing in, or one of the books that have the dotted thirds. It has to have dotted thirds. Okay, so that way you can use the dotted thirds with your handwriting. Don't use your reader's notebook, the one that has just the straight lines. They don't help with your handwriting. Okay, so when it comes to handwriting, it needs to have dotted thirds like these ones. Okay, so that's when there's a thick line up top and the bottom, and then there's the two dotted thirds in there. Okay, so we're going to continue practicing handwriting, and I know in my class we're going to continue giving out stamps for really good handwriting so that people can get towards getting a pen license. And I know in my group we've talked about the fact that I'm going to give out some virtual stamps. So I'm going to put a virtual stamp on the people's pages who get a stamp for really awesome handwriting and good practicing of handwriting at home. So today what we're going to do is do a bit of revision. It's all revision at the moment, and we're revising the basic formation of the letters. And today we're going to be having a look at clockwise letters, okay? So these are letters that are written or formed in a clockwise direction, okay? There's anti-clockwise letters as well, which we will do next week. So we've got three things we've got to do. We've got to identify the correct starting point for clockwise letters. You're going to color the wedges in the letters, and you're going to categorize the letters into head and body letters, body only letters, and body and tail letters. So let's have a look at what you have to do. So I want you to do this, as I said before, in a book that has dotted thirds. Okay, so this is the sheet. Obviously you don't have the sheet. You could print this sheet if you wanted to, if you felt that was easier, but if not, I just want you to do it in a book that has dotted thirds. The first part of the activity is to find the clockwise letters in these patterns. So the thing with clockwise letters is that they move from left to right, okay, like that. And they start on this side and they go that way. So these patterns here, in the patterns, you've got to try to find the clockwise letters. Down the bottom here, these are all the clockwise letters. H, P, X, R, N, M, K, Z. And they're all lowercase letters. So in here, you can actually find the letters within the pattern. Sometimes you have to start a bit higher. So if you were doing a H, it would go up, down, and around. If it was a P, you might start here, down, up, and around. So it depends. You need to think about where you need to start, basically. So you can just have a bit of a go at that. You could even draw their patterns and have a bit of a go at that. But the main part of this lesson is more to do with the bottom part of this page. So what you're going to do, it says trace. So you're not going to trace. You're just going to write the letters, and you got to think about, all right, where do I need to start? So with that H, I always start up here, and you're going to write your letter, making sure that that hits the right places on the dotted third. So with the H, it starts on the top dotted third, goes right down to the bottom line, and then it goes back up and loops around, hits the first dotted third, goes back down, and it always ends with a flick. Right? Very important that you're doing a flick, you don't just go straight down. When we're doing some joint handwriting, eventually, it's very important. And what you do at the end is you color in the wedge. This is the wedge, where these two lines sort of make a wedge shape. Okay? With your P's, same deal. Starts at the top here, it goes down below that line, onto the dotted third of the next line, back up, and the flick again. Wedges in between the starting point and where you go around here. Okay. X. Now X is one that a lot of people just do a. That's not how you do it. It actually needs to be like a kind of like a backwards C and then another backwards C. Okay, and it has a bit more of a flick on it, not just a cross. All right, like a cross on a treasure map or something. And the wedge there is here up the top. It could also be here down the bottom. Now R, it's kind of starts with a little flick, goes down, up, and it does a little kind of like tiny little flick curve at the end. All right, and that's the part that a lot of people miss. They sort of just go straight up. You need to do that little flick. Then we've got N. Starts over here, just below the dotted third, goes up to the dotted third, down to the line, back up around, and if it finishes a flick, the wedge is in here. The M, they're similar. Starts just below the dotted third, up and around, down, up and around again, and you've got the little wedges in there. Now the K, that's one that some people can work on. So the K starts at the top dotted third, goes back down to the line here, all right, the thick line. Then it goes back up around to the top of the dotted third, and then it flicks back in. It's like a little bow. And then you go back down, and you finish with a flick. Wedges in here. And the Z, another one that people do find tricky. So the Z, this is a lowercase z, how you should properly do it. Not a Z like this. I found that really hard to do because I'm looking at myself back to front. Uh-oh. So it's really important with your Zs that it's kind of like a 3, but it's sort of not, because it's not a 3 is normally even, whereas with the Z it sort of goes up and around, straight down almost, and then you flick back around and loop it back down to the dotted third on the next page. Okay, they are the tricky ones. So what you need to do is draw maybe 2, or write, I should say, 2 or 3 of them. Okay, you could do more if you wanted to. The second thing you need to do is you need to think about these letters and what categories they fit in. So head and body letters are letters that have a body, so that's here, and the head, so it's the top. So they fit in the top dotted third and the middle one there, but they don't go down into the tail. Body only go in this middle section here. They don't go down and they don't go above. And then the body and tail letters are letters that start in the body, they go down to the tail and back around. So P and Z are both ones. There aren't any head, body, tail letters. There's only one, and that's F, but it's not a clockwise letter. So we don't need to worry about that. Now this last one, it sort of didn't show up that well, but what you need to do is you need to get an orange texter or pencil out and mark the starting point for the letters. So I've put the starting points in here, and then you need to write one of the letters and then copy, which means write another one next to it. Okay, so it's got all the clockwise letters. So just a couple of things to remember if you want to get yourself a stamp. Make sure that you really concentrate on where it needs to fit in the dotted thirds. You touch the dotted third or the line that you need to get to. Don't leave it hanging. Make sure that it touches. Alright, I'm going to stop talking because this has been a longer video than I normally would like to do, but I think it was required to explain everything, okay? So, make sure you take a photo of your handwriting so that your teacher can see it and so that you can get a stamp for your pen license. Thanks, guys.